Hello everybody, Sparkster1701 here. It's time to go back into the Kingdom toy line, and first up here, we've got Huffer. Now, of course, Huffer was a Generation 1 figure. Here it is right now. Huffer in the Generation 1 line was a mini vehicle, so he was sold at one of the lower price points. So quite a few of us probably had Huffer as a child, due to the fact that he was relatively inexpensive to purchase. In the Generation 1 line, Huffer was said to be a construction engineer as his function, but he seemed to know a fair amount of engineering in unto itself, as it was often said that if you could give him a bunch of junk parts, he would turn out something that would be usable. But of course, Huffer was also the pessimist of the Autobots, as he would constantly complain to you that what you asked for couldn't be done, yet some way, somehow, Huffer would manage to make it happen. A lot of Huffer's grumpy attitude is meant to mask a sad side of him, as at the time, the Autobots that were stationed here on Earth were considered stranded on Earth, as they did not have access to spacecraft or space bridges as easily, so they could not get to Cybertron as frequently as the Decepticons. And in many ways, Huffer was quite homesick for Cybertron. Alrighty, let's get the G1 version out of the way here. And let's take a look at the new version here. It is done up pretty well to resemble the original toy, to a degree. But of course, taking it in its own way. Let's start by looking at the loose parts here. We're going to start with the shield here. Or at least I think it's a shield. It could probably be used as a battle gauntlet as well, with these claws here on the front. This is just basically meant to be a rear covering for the truck mode. It is a rather thin piece of plastic, so do be careful with it. And do try not to step on it. Then next up for Huffer, we have his gun. Mighty decent sized gun that he's carrying here. But of course, Huffer's gun has one unique special feature about it. And that is in the fact that it can be separated, split right down the middle, if my fingernails would allow it. This is what I get for trimming my nails this morning. There we go. There we go. The gun does separate into two pieces. This is mainly so the gun can be mounted on both sides of his truck mode. So if you are buying this toy loose, make sure you check that you have both pieces. Now with that out of the way, let's take a look at Huffer's articulation. His head can be turned from left to right, if you can get your fat fingers in there. And his head does rock up and down, so it is on a bit of a ball joint. Excuse me, I appear to have company. Okay, I was partially wrong on that. That wasn't company. That was the mail. That was the mail lady. And look what she brought me, folks. Kingdom Ultra Magnus. So you can sure bet he's coming up this month. I don't know when yet, because we haven't opened him up yet, but we do have Kingdom Ultra Magnus. So you guys probably, so many of you probably know what I'm going to be doing. Alright, let's get back to Huffer and his articulation. Like we said here, the head can turn left to right, and it does rock up and down a little bit. The arm can be raised out to the side, about so far. And it does rotate at the shoulder all the way. You will have to move it out slightly so it clears the truck cab. His arm does bend at the elbow 90 degrees, and he does have a swivel at the bicep. So he's got the G.I. Joe battle grip, like modern toys seem to do. Huffer can be turned here at his hips. His legs can be spread apart, but not into a full splits. His legs do turn at the thigh, though. You can raise his leg at the hip 90 degrees, and you can bend him at the knee considerably more than 90 degrees. So Huffer here does have quite a range of motion. Okay, to transform Huffer, they want you to reach in here and turn his head all the way around, like that. And then they want you to bring his arms up and point them towards his back, because we're going to pop them free at the shoulder and fold them down like that. And of course, once they're down like that, we can take his body and fold it down like that. You'll see inside here he's got a couple of wheels. They want you to fold those out. It will be a little difficult to get them to clear the shoulder pieces. Just don't force it so that you don't break him. And then, of course, once that's done, you will fold him back up and lock him into place. And that'll help straighten out the arms as well, because basically the sides of his arms should connect. There's holes on the arms that should connect to posts along his waist while you're at it, so that'll secure his arms. Then they want you to come up here and turn the arms so that this hexagonal hole here is facing outwards, like that. Then once that's done, you will grab the cab of the truck, and we're going to work it backwards. Of course, right here you can see there's a couple of posts there, and they should fit into these holes here on the arms. You may have to move the arms down a bit. That way you can allow that to come in, and then just wiggle the arms into place, just exactly like that. And of course, once that's done, you will take his hands and you will fold them at the wrist so they fold inwards, just exactly like that. Then you will take his legs. You're going to put his legs together. We'll turn him around this way because you're going to fold out this gray piece, fold it over and around, and secure it on the front of his legs. And then we rotate it around again so that it comes back and snaps into place. And then we just toss him on the table for no reason. Some people will laugh at that. But there he is. Huffer is now in his truck mode, which of course is meant to invoke the design of the original truck. Since he was made as a super deformed truck, in the Generation 1 era, it's not really been identified as to what model of semi-truck he's intended to be. But the new one is a nice and significant upgrade. And of course, how does he roll here on his wheels? He rolls pretty good. Now, of course, you do have a couple of play options here with Huffer. First being is the fact that you can attach the shield here. It's got 3 posts here. You just attach them to these holes here on the back side. And then these orange slots on the edge will match up with the orange slots of his guns. So it will allow you to plug the guns in. Try to, at least. There we go. The one doesn't want to stay on. Let's see if we can get the other one on. There we go. That's how it would look. So we can get the other one to go on for us. Will you cooperate? Yeah, maybe if Huffer's got some duct tape laying around. There we go. They connect on. The only problem is that the gun barrels shoot right into the smokestacks. So doing that is relatively pointless. You'd almost be better off just keeping the gun together and there we go. Mount it on the roof of the truck. But there is another option, folks. There is another option that I want to show you once we take the pieces off. If you happen to have the Earthrise or Kingdom Optimus Prime, then you will have this trailer. And the trailer can be attached to Huffer. Just exactly like that. Just as we saw in one of the Generation 1 cartoon episodes, Huffer was able to take over the trailer and tow it for Optimus after he had been badly wounded in battle with Megatron. So, you can reenact that with this. And all in all, it does look very good. So that would tell us partially why the trailer was a bit on the small side. It does look good, posted here with Huffer. Now we get down to my thoughts. What do I think of Huffer? Huffer's a good character to bring back into the mainstream again. With his unique function of being a construction engineer, he was able to help the Autobots build many of the things they would need to continue the fight against the Decepticons. As they had no means of getting through to Cybertron to get added help or supplies, the Autobots had to make do with whatever they could find. And with Huffer being able to build some of the equipment they could use, that certainly would have helped their meager supply lines. Again, as I've stated earlier, it's a shame that Hasbro doesn't continue to bring the lore for these characters into the new toys, as I feel it's probably going to become lost to the newer generations of fans. But, at any rate, Huffer here is a good updated toy from the Generation 1 version. I do like the accessories that he comes with, and the added play value that he has with being able to connect to Optimus's trailer. It's a nice thing overall. The way they set up the gun to be connected on the back, that's about the only real gripe I have with it. I do think it's kind of dumb. It looks silly and really doesn't serve a practical point. You'd be better off, like I've done here, and just mount the gun onto the top of the truck. and go with that. At any rate, that concludes my review of the Kingdom version of Huffer. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you liked the video, please leave me a thumbs up here on YouTube. If you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button and join our ranks. Make sure you ring the bell, because this month we will be posting videos in an odd frequency. Also ask that you share this video with your friends and fellow collectors. That's what helps this channel grow. And share your thoughts about Huffer in the comments down below. This is Sparkster1701 saying I will catch you all later.